Do you ever feel like you're in a slump in your relationship? Your relationship is some of the most important wealth to your soul, for you actually feeling like you have a happy, fulfilled life. My name is Kris Krohn, and today I'm going to be bringing my wife on the channel, and we're going to share some additional marriage advice, how we became coaches to each other, and how we've been able to work as a team to elevate each other out of baggage, negativity, and really taking our marriage to a place where we get to be happy just about every single day.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
Welcome back, friend. Kris Krohn here, and I've got my amazing, beautiful wife, Colleen, here with me.
Hi, guys.
We've been married now for 17 years. We've got 4 kids. And, when we very first got married, we made a commitment to each other. We said, let's become that couple that inspires the world to want to have the most magical, amazing relationship on the planet.
And we were like these cute little
Naive
in college idealists.
Yeah.
And then what? Real life happened after that.
Yeah, no, I mean, we got married, and then within a matter of months, it's like,
This is hard.
oh my gosh, this is difficult. Who are you? What happened? How did we get here? Why am I waking up next to you? It got real because, in our last video, we talked about how you can get that high in the relationship and then you get that low. And that's when you get tested to figure out, what are you two going to do? How are you going to show up to make something amazing? Dude, right now, the world's best solution is divorce. Just like, man, just move on to the next relationship. It's painful. It's hurtful. It's heartache. It's expensive.
Your same issues will follow you.
Your same issues are going to show up in the next relationship. So at some point, you buckle down and you say, we're going to figure this out. My wife and I, we weren't really on the same page when we first got married when it came to personal development or how we wanted to work on our marriage. Because frankly, in a relationship, you have one person that usually represents change and you have the other person that represents sameness. How do we keep everything the way it is? And I was Mr. Change and she was Mrs. Same. And it usually meant that I would try to convince and compel and get blue in the face talking about how we can improve things.
How did that work out?
Never. I don't know how the rest of that sentence goes, but it never worked. So, and yet all these years later, we went from the valley of the shadow of death to seriously being on top of the greatest mountain I've ever been at in my life. It eclipses all wealth, all achievement, all accomplishment, because I get to have this amazing life with you. And today I want to share with you and have Glenn also share the skill that we developed that really enabled our relationship to go to a whole new level. And it's called breakthrough. I had a beautiful opportunity to write a book. Of all my books, it's the one that I'm most excited for my posterity to have. The book is called Limitless. By the way, this book is designed to help you know how to have everything that you want in life, in addition, an amazing relationship. And this book is free to you. You just got to click the link in the description below. And the reason why I give this book out is because the information in this book came from spending millions of dollars on my personal development. And fortunately, I was able to get a talented writer that could help me capture it in this book that is really in service of you living the greatest life of your dreams. And
you probably talked about this before.
Yeah.
It teaches all about your beliefs, your limiting beliefs, how they hold you back, how to eliminate them by going to where they came from, by weighing the cost of keeping them. It's when you just become really conscious to them and find out if they're serving you or not.
Well, and 100% of the problems you have in your relationship stem from both of you arguing in favor of your limiting beliefs. You think that you're right. You think that you know best. You want something different. And we project that belief. It's like, well, you should want what I want. No, you should want what I want.
Oh, for example, clothes. Because back in the day, we would fight about clothes on the floor.
We just had 2 very different organization systems.
Kris
Mine
grew
involved
up
hangers.
Extremely tidy. I grew up not so extremely tidy. I would put my clothes on the floor and I was very happy with that. He was very not happy. But the limiting belief behind that you would project on me was,
if you want to take care of your clothes, you should honor and respect them and the money that it took to get them by taking care of them. You hang them up, you organize them, you put them where they belong.
And if I didn't, that meant what?
It meant that you were a bad, disrespectful human being.
yes, apparently for me, I was just too lazy to hang them up. So they were just there and they were there when I needed them. We're believing 2 different things here.
As childish as this now seems, I know many people can relate and be like, yeah, whatever you argue on with your significant other, here's what I want you to understand. For you to be happy, your spouse doesn't need to change. The person with the problem is the person with the problem. So when I'm upset about the clothes, is she upset?
Nope, I was totally good.
She was totally good with it. Now, I might say some things that could influence her to want to become upset. But the reality is, in the moment that you have a problem, you also have the solution. So the person with the problem has that solution, which means that we hold incredible power. If we perceive problems, then we can also perceive answers. And I went through the technique laid out in this book, and I did a breakthrough. And what that meant was I realized that I found out what that limiting belief was. I found that judgment that I was honoring within myself by taking care of my clothes that I thought my wife was dishonoring. And in the end, I got to let go of what was right for her, and I got to embrace what was right for me, and I got to honor my truth. And it was one of the most liberating moments for me, because I realized that I had wasted so much life arguing over what I thought was right, only to realize that it was right for me. Her eternal salvation has nothing to do with how she hangs up her clothes, right? And my happiness should have nothing to do with how she hangs up her clothes. I mean, as stupid as that sounds, I robbed so much peace from myself, and it was just beautiful to be able to release that. Most of us don't know how to release the suffering in our life. Most of us don't know how to release the pain in our life. And so this book was written as a gift to anyone that can get their hands on it to learn, how do you effectively change what doesn't work? Now, I use the same techniques to make millions of dollars, and now I'm manifesting $1 billion real estate fund and doing some huge stuff. I use the techniques in this book to learn how to drop 50 pounds and get that V-shaped muscular body.
You also use them just for little things. Like Kris did an event just this last weekend.
That's true.
And twice during the event,
I got
he
triggered.
ran over to me. He got triggered by something, ran over to me. Honey, I've got 30 seconds before we have to be back on stage. Do a breakthrough with me. And so we did a little mini breakthrough, and
it worked.
It worked.
Well, and so at first, you do breakthrough for you. But when you can learn how to show up for each other, because at first a lot of couples aren't very coachable. They're not very teachable. So you learn how to get permission. And that's step number one. You guys can get this book. You can read it as a couple or just yourself. And if you're ever going to use this technique to help improve life, you always need permission. I would ask, hey, do you mind if we do a breakthrough on this problem? And it's best not to offer a breakthrough for them. It's best to ask them to help do breakthroughs for you, so that you focus on changing who? Friends, that's where your happiness, that's your A game. That's where you can nail it. That's where you can win. 100, not 99, 100% of your happiness is based on your ability to emotionally regulate based on your own choices. It has nothing to do with who you surround yourself with. It's not your boss, your employees, certainly not your spouse or your kids. It's all inside of you. Friends, we just want to shoot this little video mostly because we're passionate these days with our foundation and charities and a number of things to just, how can we give back? And this video is in service to you. This book is also a gift. We're happy to put a copy in the mail. We ask that you just cover shipping on it. Click the link below, and hope this ends up becoming a manual for wealth creation, health creation, and amazing 10 out of 10 relationship creation. Hey, thank you so much for taking the opportunity to watch this video. Glad you had a chance to meet my better half. She seriously is the love of my dreams. She's so incredibly amazing. And you know, all this wealth that I build and empire building, it would be so meaningless if my relationship, wasn't where it's currently at. And we had to work hard to get it there. This book can certainly help do the same. And that's why I'm happy to put it in the mail to give it to you. I believe the knowledge will be transformational for you, and it'll impact every other area of your life. So thanks for watching today. Make sure you subscribe. And if you know someone that's struggling in a relationship right now, share this video with them. Share the love. And we look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's video.